You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us wherever you're watching from around the world. This is Firecrackers, where we take time to reflect on issues of national interest. Again, I am Kelly Giga. Let's cross over live to the United Kingdom, where my brother and friend is standing by to speak with us on the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Essien Ukorebi, he joins us live tonight on the program. Doctor, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us. General Practitioner Registrar and Worcester in the United Kingdom. We'd like to thank you most kindly for agreeing to speak with Galaxy TV. We always get to have very interesting chats, by the way. Good to see you, bro.
Thank you very much, Kelly, for having me on the show.
All right, Doctor, let's begin with some of the events that played out earlier last week in South Africa, precisely with the UK-based AstraZeneca. What are the possible consequences of from this particular study by researchers in SA?
Right. So as we have heard from reports in South Africa, they have tried the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine on many patients in South Africa, or on many persons in South Africa, and they found that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is not as effective as such against the South African variant of the coronavirus. And like we know, all viruses, and as well as the coronaviruses, undergo mutation, they undergo change, from time to time. And so we have different variants of the coronavirus, and the South African variant at this point is what we are talking about in South Africa. And they started using the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and they still found out that people were still developing mild symptoms of COVID-19. Studies here in the UK regarding the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine and the South African variant has shown that the vaccine is unable to protect against mild forms of these diseases. So in that case, it can protect against severe form. It can protect against people going on to die from COVID vaccine, but then it does not necessarily protect against milder forms of diseases. That's the studies that have been shown here in the United Kingdom regarding the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
Well, Dr. Essien, let's quickly look at other issues now, if we may, as we stay with the vaccine. Some fear that AstraZeneca doubts will harm public confidence. Is that a view you share? And then help us understand as well, earlier in the week, the United Kingdom, it does appear, backed the vaccine. Is that still the position of the government at this time?
Well, in terms of affecting the public trust and confidence in the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, I would say that it is still too early to say that. It's still too early to conclude that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is not potent or is not effective enough. I would say that against the variants that are seen in the United Kingdom predominantly, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been shown to protect against mild forms and even severe forms of diseases. And like I said previously, studies are being shown or are being carried out against the South African variant. So there is no doubt in the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine at the moment. It is still reliable. It is still effective against severe forms of the coronavirus. And talking about different vaccines in the UK, at this point, the UK has vaccinated about 15 million persons. So since the 8th of December, when the vaccine rollout began, 15 million persons have been vaccinated, and a majority of these persons have received both the AstraZeneca vaccine as well as the Pfizer vaccine, and we've had good results so far.
Well, Doctor, let's look at the fact that more than 40 million doses has been rolled out or administered, especially in wealthy nations like the one where you are. But here in Africa, a continent of 1.3 million people, we are yet to receive some of these vaccines. I mean, 54 countries or 55 countries here in Africa at the moment. What does that tell you? Put that in context, if you may.
Well, it is something that brings so much concern to many of us, that most of the so-called wealthy countries are able to buy vaccines from manufacturers, and some countries in Africa or some low socioeconomic countries are unable to, purchase this vaccine, and that leaves us with a situation where we'll have all of, the Western countries, so to say, being vaccinated, and very limited amount of people in, the poor and in the underdeveloped countries not having access to the vaccine. But I understand that there are some move and initiatives by the WHO, by some agencies like the COVAX, that have come together to see how some of these vaccines can reach these poor countries. It is a concern that at this point, not up to 1% of the population of Nigeria, if anyone at all, has been vaccinated, has received the vaccine. So it is a major concern for Nigeria. It is a major concern for Africa. And we can only hope that, agencies like the COVAX that have entered into a deal with Nigeria to provide vaccines would do likewise with other African countries and other underdeveloped countries, to ensure that not just Europe, not just America are being vaccinated, but countries in Africa also have access to these vaccines and have it, at an affordable price as well.
As we begin to wind down now on our conversation, let's talk about something that we had a chat about off camera, that has to do with blacks being very skeptical about these vaccines. I mean, in my interaction here in Nigeria, a large chunk of Nigerians are very, very skeptical about the vaccines. I mean, some say it's the cheap and all of that, blah, blah, blah. But I also understand that where you are in the UK, the blacks over there as well are skeptical about the vaccine. Why is that so?
Right, you're very correct, Kelly. There's been a lot of misinformation about the COVID vaccine that has led to a very reduced uptake of the vaccine amongst the black community. And I would not just say this is among the black communities alone, but also the Asians and all the minority ethnicities in the United Kingdom. They have one of the lowest levels of uptake of the vaccines here in the United Kingdom. And there are varieties, there are different reasons why, some of these people have chosen not to take the vaccine. How some of these reasons are not concrete enough, and some of them can also be easily debunked. So some people are not taking the vaccines because of religious factors. So some people think the vaccines, like you said, are related to some things that are against their religion. It could be things like the Antichrist, different reasons that people have come up. Some people, mostly some Asians and some people that have some reservations about the contents and the ingredients of this vaccine, and saying that we can't take this vaccine because this vaccine contains some ingredients that are not suitable for us. Some people are not taking the vaccine also, especially black people, because they are concerned, because they have problems with trust. So if you remember the case of Pfizer in Kano State, where experimental drugs were tried and it left, a couple of children dead. So that is in the mind of many black people, especially here in the UK. We have seen Pfizer in Nigeria, test experimental drugs, and issues sprung up that they had to pay families afterwards, and this mistrust has been transferred to the COVID vaccine. Some other people think that the vaccine has come out too early and they cannot take it. But like I said earlier on, all of these misconceptions, all of these misinformations can all be debunked. And I, for one, have received the vaccine, and in the United Kingdom, I've been encouraging black people, I've been encouraging my colleagues to also take the vaccine. Why? Because the vaccine has gone through the process, so the different clinical phase trials that all other vaccines and drugs have gone through. Howbeit, this has taken a shorter time because we are in a pandemic. We've not been in a pandemic for a very long time. And so this had to be, facilitated and fasting to ensure that the vaccines come out on time. In respect to religiosity and religion, I can't comment too much about that, but we have the polio vaccine, we have the hepatitis vaccine, we have so many vaccines, and they are all not linked to religiosity. Why then is the COVID vaccine linked to religiosity? Finally, to the Black people who are saying that, oh, this vaccine has not been tested on Black people. I want to say that when the testings or when the trials for the vaccine started in the UK, messages were rolled out to people to join the trials for this vaccine. And they had less than 1% of Black people enrolled to be used to try this vaccine. And now the vaccine is out. The Black people are also complaining that this vaccine has not been tried on Black people. Of course, they have to volunteer themselves before these vaccines can be tried on them. So I would say if the vaccine gets to Nigeria, I encourage everyone to take it. It's over 3 weeks since I've had my vaccine. I am healed, I am healthy, I'm sound. I can go to work, working as a healthcare worker, confident that I have up to 70 to 90% protection against the coronavirus. We've seen coronavirus kill a lot of our colleagues, a lot of our friends and family, and the vaccine offers a lifeline. It offers a solution to this. So I think every wise person would be in a hurry to get this vaccine instead of being anti-vaccine.
Dr. Essien Ukorebi, I guess that's a good place to anchor our conversation tonight. I wish we had time. We probably would have just touched on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is, it appears, the latest vaccine in the market, but I'm not sure we can do that now because we are absolutely pressed for time. But I would like to thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. It's always a delight to speak with you, Dr. Essien Ukorebi.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
All right, so there you go, Dr. Essien Ukorebi, a general practitioner registrar, works there in the United Kingdom, Birmingham.